Oh man, is Andre Cronje back for good? We've also got Bitcoin dumping to the downside. Many other interesting altcoins are moving despite Bitcoin's dump here. What is going on? What is the latest in the price action? I'm going to break this down and a lot more. We're going to kick off with Andre Cronje. Yes, of course, Andre Cronje has been back at Fantom, but one thing he hasn't been back doing is what he's known to be doing, which is building really good projects like YearnFi and Keeper. Could this be the start of Andre Cronje actually getting back into the saddle and building good projects again? Could this be the spark that Fantom needs to get back to all-time highs and beyond towards that $5 mark many investors are looking for on Fantom? Well, there's been a clue, and it comes from Twitter. Let's take a look at what Andre Cronje just tweeted a couple of hours ago. So he posted this meme about paralyzed EVM. And that then made somebody say, hey, what do you think will be Fantom's killer app that gets the chain activity flying? And I thought this is a really, really good question, because if you actually look at it, what was it that led Fantom to have such a powerful cycle that led to its $3 plus price point in the last cycle? It was DeFi, and it was DeFi primarily led by Andre Cronje in the early days with YearnFi, with Keeper, with the other project he was working on. He's considered the godfather of DeFi for a reason, right? He built really good projects which people wanted to stake in. They had total value locked, and that drive the TVL of Fantom and drive the use cases on Fantom. And so Andre Cronje actually replied to this question, and he gave a step-by-step plan. Launch Sonic, get current blue chip deployed, work closely with existing Fantom projects, get fees low enough, etc., etc. Incubate, advise, and guide. Fine. It's a good roadmap. But where things get really, really exciting is this next bit. So he goes, Fantom right now is a bit like having a really fast car without any roads. And this is another way of saying what I've said this whole time. Fantom's tech has always stood head and shoulders above the rest. Now, granted, new exciting layer 1 projects are being launched all the time, and they have the benefit of building something new. What Fantom now has to do, like every other project, like Ethereum will have to go through and Solana, is you're now fixing things and updating the tech whilst being in the air. So imagine you're flying an aircraft at 30,000 feet and you're having to change the engine. That's what these big projects have to do, because they're not launching new. They have to fix an existing project. So it's hard to stay innovative and keep things up to date. But what he's saying here now is, the infrastructure is not there for people to really utilize the power of Fantom. And he says Fantom's true power will be in gaming, social apps, streaming, high frequency trading options, etc., high velocity stuff. Not there yet, but close. But here's where it gets even more interesting, guys. Meanwhile, I will also try to stoke the fires with a few of my unreleased protocols, although this time round focusing on getting teams with passion to drive it before launch. And this is where I need to jump in here. So we've got to remember, what is the context behind this? Andre Cronje was the godfather of DeFi, but many people started getting really annoyed by him by the fact that he disappeared. Now, we covered that on the channel years ago when he decided to step back away from Fantom. I mean, he was probably going for a bunch of emotional and mental health issues at the time, but crypto can be like that. Crypto can be a very toxic place, and he decided to just step back. But that doesn't take away the fact that he is a genius and he builds great protocols. And his wording here seems to suggest that he's got unreleased protocols. So things he's built in the past, tech he knows is great, stuff he's built, but he just doesn't have the energy or the want or the need to want to actually run it day to day, right? And we've seen that even when he did Solidly as well, he just didn't have the kind of energy or want to run it day to day. So what he's saying now is, look, I've got these protocols. Maybe I'm just going to find teams that want to day to day run it, and maybe I advise them in the background, etc., but they can run it. And this could be really big for Fantom, guys. If Andre Cronje gets developing again, not just on the back end of Fantom, but on the front end in terms of protocols, DeFi protocols, things he's, provenly done in previous cycles, this could be a huge gateway drug to drive more TVL, more use cases towards Fantom. And it could be the thing that helps Fantom hugely in this current cycle. He goes, I think LevX, on-chain spot leverage perps, and options market, crypto native options trading can showcase some of Sonic's power. We'll probably launch them within 3 to 6 months of solid go live. So exciting times for Fantom. That is being backed up by the price action, right? Fantom, we covered it off in yesterday's video, is showing tremendous strength. But I want to point to this chart, which is the Fantom BTC chart, right? It's all good looking at Fantom. Let's look at the Fantom BTC chart, because right now you're seeing Fantom is not falling as much as Bitcoin right now. Fantom is having a 1.5% down day today. So what you're seeing here, if we take this measured move and just take a look at that, over the last 20 days, these are 20 daily candles here, Fantom has outperformed Bitcoin by 100%. Right? This is not 100% on some sort of meme coin or risky play. This is a solid layer one solution we've seen in the previous cycles, delivering 100% return versus Bitcoin in the last 20 days. And this is where you start to see, we've seen this in previous cycles before, I've spoken about it at length. Fantom has this ability to outperform Bitcoin. Now, granted, sometimes it can dump more than Bitcoin. That's what you get when you invest in a volatile altcoin. But it does show tremendous strength. And that's one of the reasons that a lot of people, myself included, want to have Fantom in their portfolio. So I thought that was a really interesting update for Fantom. Now, another coin which has shown tremendous strength here over the last kind of couple of weeks is a project called Mantra, also known as OM. The ticker symbol is OM. Now, this is a project that was first brought to my attention when I was traveling in Dubai, and it's interesting that they just had an update today saying that they raised $11 million for real-world assets tokenization with Middle East tint. So this is a project based out in the Middle East. I think it is Dubai itself, but they've managed to raise $11 million, and that's leading the project to start climbing higher. And again, this is a project which just hasn't stopped. We traded this successfully. I did a short-term trade, not a long-term trade. Inside my Telegram community, I shared it with the Telegram members, ijazcrypto.com/TG, if you want to see how I'm trading altcoins day to day. But we took profits on that. We made tremendous, over 50% spot profits on this. But this project has just kept going. I mean, if you look at the weekly candles here, I mean, the previous week was over 100%, and this week is already at 50%. And again, when you know that a project is making good fundamental moves, when they're close to, for example, here, if you take a look at here, getting their license with Dubai's crypto regulator, plus then raising $11 million, these are the kind of fundamental piece of data you're looking for in a project that will really help it go to the next level, right? Excitement and marketing and hype is all good, but when you tie that in with actual progress on the project they're trying to build, it's a win-win situation, right? So if you take a look at this, plenty of companies in crypto and beyond are betting that real-world assets will become a multi-billion-dollar business by the end of the decade. Much of the trading in traditional asset classes that are broadly popular with investors, real estate, stocks, maybe even art, will have to move onto blockchains for this to happen. It hasn't yet. So just very quickly, a quick sentence for those who aren't familiar with what RWAs or real-world assets are. It's just taking real-world assets, right, stocks and shares and real estate and art and watches maybe and Pokemon cards and tokenizing them, right? To give it all the benefits of the blockchain, to give it all the benefits that we have when we're trading Bitcoin or Ethereum or any of our favorite altcoins, giving those benefits to real-world assets. Imagine you could buy a percentage of a Rolex watch or a Richard Mille watch, you know, through just like how you buy some Bitcoin. 24 hours a day, immutable, it's on the blockchain that you own, 0.01% of the rarest watch in the world, or the Mona Lisa, or some art piece by Picasso. That is real world assets, and it's going to be a big trend. Who's going to be the leader? Who's going to be the big play? That's what every investor is trying to figure out right now. Is trying to do their bit here in terms of their project they're building. But still early days. But I just thought I'd mention it because this project is absolutely soaring. Now, incidentally, there are certain projects which you are seeing moving. I mean, we saw Aptos moving today. We've seen Sui moving 10% today. And I always find this interesting. Whenever Bitcoin's having a crash like this, I'm going to come on to the Bitcoin TA shortly. Whenever it's having a crash like this, a 6% day, I want to see which altcoins are just fighting back, right? So you're seeing Fantom having some relative strength, Aptos moving 8%, Sui moving 10%. So there seems to be this narrative around the new exciting layer one solutions. Celestia was moving as well. I saw that. We just covered off. So you're seeing certain coins really start to move. And again, I just make a quick mental note that these projects are showing good mental strength against Bitcoin and try to kind of, decide why and whether I want to hold them. So similarly, Stacks here as well, up 6.7%. And so the question now arises is, when is Bitcoin going to stop this pullback? And should we be worried? Well, if you watched my video yesterday, I said I'm out. And a bunch of people were like, oh, that's clickbait. Well, hours later, I'm proven right yet again by the fact that this market just dropped 6%, and it was actually more than that since I posted my video. And I purposefully did not take any new trades, the Telegram community can vouch for that, because I just felt that this market was too nervy and too frothy. And what's the evidence behind this? Well, let's start taking a look at what happened. So Grayscale started dumping again. Yep, Grayscale yesterday dumped $642.5 million worth of Bitcoin. Now, Now, fortunately, there was some positive inflows from the other ETFs, BlackRock, etc., and that led to lessening the outflow, but it was still an outflow of $154 million. This is the highest single day outflow ever, okay? So that obviously has had an effect. Now, if we take a look at the actual breakdown, you can start to see that apart from grayscale dumping, there are some other disappointments as well. Let's see if I can try expand this. But if you look at the bottom here, you can see that BlackRock, which is this column here, is holding up pretty well. They're still seeing good inflows. Fidelity is showing a bit of a problem. Just 5.9, okay, $5.9 million worth of Bitcoin flowing in yesterday for Fidelity, which is a little bit worrying because I think it was 155 million the day before. And we're starting to see it just dry up a little bit. So this is something for us to watch, just to make sure that we're not kind of drying up. We're still seeing those strong inflows start to come in. The other thing worth looking at, guess who bought the dip? Our good friend Michael Saylor. And this should be a lesson for all of us. There's two types of people. Those that are going to panic and be like, oh my God, Bitcoin's down 6%. What do we do? And the others, like I tried to heed in my videos the last couple of days, get ready to buy the dip in the EMA ribbon. And what did I specifically say here? This is where I want to be buying the dip. I need to be in the habit of buying here and not up here. Buy here and not up here. Right? Buying on pullbacks, buying when markets are fearful. When this is nice and red, I go, okay, I've got some work to do, right? Jump on over to the crypto bubbles, give it a refresh. Oh, look, it's nice and red. That means I need to do something. If it's green, I've got nothing to do. I don't want to be buying when everybody else is buying, right? And you're seeing that this is a huge red pullback. I mean, if you take a look at the leverage, in just the last 24 hours, $664 million has been wrecked. And it's not just been wrecked in Bitcoin. 200 million of that is in Bitcoin, 120 million is in Ethereum, but you can see a whole bunch of these is in those meme coins because this market was overzealous, over-leveraged, and greedy. You want proof of that? Well, I shared that with you guys yesterday. We spoke about all the crazy pre-sales on Solana. People are desperate to send Solana to address. Any address, take my Solana, because everybody is looking for the next big boom, right? Everybody's looking for that next thing. And I know because I've got certain friends who are messaging me who don't even care about crypto, making money on these Solana meme coins, and that is when I know this market is going to pull back, which is why I make a video like yesterday's which says I'm out, I'm stepping out, I'm nervous, I'm not taking a trade. This market is insane right now, okay? And so you can see this was by Zach XBT, who just broke down all of this, right? Look at this. I was interested to see how much SOL has been sent as a result of the pre-sale meta and calculated 655,000 SOL, $122 million raised from just 27 pre-sales. It's insanity. It's insanity and it's not sustainable. This will lead to crypto crashes like what we've just seen. This is greed. This is leveraged greed. And this, it doesn't last. You always get, experience will tell you, you will always get these pullbacks. So don't be surprised when you see this kind of stuff going on. So when we take a look at Bitcoin, where is support? Support comes in naturally at a 60,000 level, right? This 60,000 level is going to be important. If I just bring back all my messy lines, you can see we lost the level I was speaking about yesterday. 64,600 got lost. It broke straight down below there. It didn't manage to hold. The next major support, there's a little bit at the top of the red box at 61.5. Thereafter, you're looking at 60,000. For me, I'm looking at the 60,000. Is it going to want to come down here? And what reaction will we get there? Will we get a good bounce? Will we see volume start to come back in? Will we see the bulls step up? Or will we see weakness? If we see weakness here, guys, that could be a little bit of an issue. What I don't want to see is something like this, only to then just tumble back, lose the EMA ribbon. That would be a big problem. Then it's worth saying, okay, we need to tear up the script a little bit here. But as long as this is moving like this, retest, and wants to move again, I'm all good. I'm buying the dip in these areas, and I'll be setting limit orders to pick up some nice cheap buys. Now, again, I'll start nibbling around these areas. I don't mind these areas. 63,000 here on Bitcoin on Bitcoin when people are FOMOing in at 73,000. I'm getting a $10,000 discount already. Right? By no means do I think this bull market is over. I just think we need to flush out the greed. And this happens in every cycle. You get excitement, the greed comes in, flush out the greed. More excitement, greed comes in, flush out the greed, and you keep going. You've got to flush out the greed in order to have the room to have your next big move to the upside. So not too concerned here about Bitcoin, but exciting news for Fantom with Cronje looking like he's really excited to get back in the saddle, not just on the back end of Fantom, but actually getting some protocols launched. If he can manage that, Fantom could have the fuel it needs for an explosive bull market. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you appreciate this type of content, make sure you smash up the likes. If you want to trade with me actively, ijazcrypto.com/TG is where you can do that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.